I don't know if you guys have paid attention to what's happening in New Mexico, but it is the wildest stuff that I've seen in a very, very long time. The governor of New Mexico accused of infringing on people's Second Amendment rights after banning people from carrying guns for 30 days. I'm sorry, what? What is your justification on this one, you absolute mad person? The governor of New Mexico is facing calls for her, oh my god, it makes total sense now, doesn't it? Her removal after her signing of an emergency public health order. Wait, what? A public health... What? Okay, over the weekend, one that temporarily suspends laws allowing citizens to openly and secretly carry. It's called concealed carry, you hyperbolic asses. In the state's largest city, Democrat. Oh, see, makes total sense. Michelle Lujan Grisham, 63. Interesting. Is that also going to apply for your security detail? I'm just checking. Issued the executive order on Friday, which applies to all of Albuquerque and took effect immediately due to its billing as a public health emergency. Now, okay, this is just all about the Second Amendment and the fact that it's totally being infringed upon, even though it's written in bold-ass letters, shall not be infringed. This is the most egregious example. But she signed the letter and she got to the approval of, well, herself, because she just unilaterally, like a dictator, decided to supersede the Constitution. Obviously, this is going to get struck down, but the fact that she just thought that, you know what, I kind of feel like this morning. I don't really need to consult with anybody, so fuck it. I'm just going to go ahead and throw the Second Amendment completely and totally out the window. But for 30 days, guys. We'll just reassess at that point in time. It's hilarious, because you can just go ahead and take a look right now as to all the crimes that are happening right now. Not a lot of them. I know that there are some, high-profile shootings that do end up happening, but all of the knife attacks, random muggings that occur that could be stopped by a good man, or with a good guy with a gun. But you decided to take the only mitigating factor out of the equation and just simply leave guns in the hands of the tyrants. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Comes in response to a recent spate of child-involved shootings in the state's most populous locale, which in recent years have become even more notorious for its gun violence. Interesting. It's almost like you don't want to address the root cause of this stuff. Just ask the UK. Just ask Australia how well all of that stuff is done. They got rid of all the guns. How's their violent crime statistics look? Oh, interesting. Critics have since slammed the suspension, set to last at least 30 days, as an overreach of governmental powers and simply unconstitutional. Exactly. Maybe you're for this, okay? Maybe you don't like guns. Maybe you just think that, oh, they're just guys out there overcompensating for their small peepees. They just want to hold something large and powerful in their hands. Oh, it's basically cuckoldry shooting a gun, something long and black. What are you just secretly wanting to choke on BBC? All of the big weird shit that they talk about. But no. Okay, cool. You want to go ahead and you want to support shit like this? Cool. Go ahead and suspend the Second Amendment? Then it becomes a suspension of the First Amendment because of a public health emergency, because during 2020 was also declared a public health emergency? All right, racism and sexism, right? So you just need to go ahead and suspend free speech because people's feelings might end up be hurting? No, cool. Hopefully we can one day work it down all the way to the 19th Amendment, but I don't think we'll ever get that far. But that's all right, man. It has already reached a boiling point, and thank God at least one of those gun rights organizations, not the one that you'd immediately think of because, they're just too busy counting their money and just going, we don't actually want to have to do anything. And the National Association for Gun Rights, haven't heard a goddamn thing, at least at the time of recording. Could change, maybe they're just on vacation over the weekend, don't worry about it. But the NRA, haven't heard anything from them, but the actual working side of the gun lobby, they're doing something. Filed a lawsuit against New Mexico's Democratic governor and health secretary Saturday over orders declaring gun violence a public health emergency and suspending open and concealed carry laws in cities and counties based on crime statistics. Governor Grisham issued the emergency order, the deaths of 3 children from July through September. 3 children, July through September, just take all of the guns. Okay, as well as a pair of mass shootings in the state. Lawsuit filed the U.S. District Court in New Mexico on Saturday lists Grisham and Mexico Department of Health and Safety, just the health secretary, Patrick Allen as defendants. National Association for Gun Rights argues that the lawsuit that orders violates the Second Amendment. Yes, the state must justify the carry prohibition by demonstrating that it is consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation, but it is impossible for the state to meet this burden because there is no such historical tradition implementation of firearms regulation in this nation. Exactly, man. I'll be interested to see where that ultimately ends up going. But pundits pointed out the Second Amendment, claiming it was being illegally suspended, while figures like Greg Baca, top Republican in the state, accused Grisham of going after law-abiding citizens with an unconstitutional gun order. I couldn't find the article that I was looking for, but it was a local rag down there in Albuquerque that was reporting on this from one of the snippets that this stupid bitch was talking about. And she was saying, yeah, I know this is going to target law-abiding citizens, and I know criminals are not going to listen to this, but we're just trying something. That's the justification that she's using in order to supersede the Constitution of the United States. You power-hungry. Ooh, there's a four-letter word that I'd like to use, but, you know, as Benny Johnson puts it, the governor of New Mexico has just declared the First and Second Amendment does not exist due to an emergency. Yep, the right to assembly, which would be infringed by not being allowed to open or concealed carry, because basically guns, they just have to appear in gun stores and in your home, but you can't carry them without infringing on this unconstitutional order. It's totally fucked in the head. Under this legal theory, all of our rights are essentially eliminated. Exactly, man, because if this one stands, well, then you have precedent for just nullifying the Constitution, because emergency. Well, what qualifies as an emergency? 3 kids were shot and there was a couple mass shootings. Oh, okay, cool. What about the people that perpetrated those? Because we have people on we have laws on the books for dealing with those. Oh, okay. No, you just want to nullify the Constitution because you think that will make things safer. You fucking idiot. Conservative commentator Benny Johnson. Yeah, he led the chorus, and probably other people have chimed in as well. Governor of New Mexico declared the First and Second Amendments unconstitutional. Or yeah, the YouTuber proceeded to provide a somewhat seething segue into the wildly controversial, now viral clip telling his more than 1.8 million followers, watch the most evil and tyrannical 60 seconds you've ever heard from a politician. Yeah, exactly. The conservative did not provide a basis behind his assertion that Grisham's order violates the First Amendment. Oh my God, the famous law that prevents the federal government from making laws that censor one's religion, speech, or freedom of assembly. Yeah, like I said, people that want to go to the gun range, you're not allowed to do that anymore, because how do you get the guns there? Just wondering. Or speech, the right to petition your government. She unilaterally decided that without consulting any of the constituents. That would be his justification, you fucking brainlets. But of course, this is a UK publication. They just think, oh my God, if you ban all the guns, that means that none of the migrants will stab you. Oh wait. The clip, which lasts less than 2 minutes, has been viewed more than 11 million times and begins with Grisham being asked by a reporter if her temporary ban was unconstitutional. Oh boy, you took an oath to the Constitution, the reporter is heard asking in the clip at the state's capital. Isn't it unconstitutional to say you cannot exercise your carry license? At this point, Grisham, a former lawyer who gained her gubernatorial seat in 2019. Oh boy, so she'll be up for re-election here. This year, in fact. What a fucking idiot. Seems to concede that under normal circumstances, the members of the press would usually be right, but quickly parlays with one exception. Why? What's your exception, you blithering tard? And that is, as she goes on to elaborate, if there's an emergency. Oh, okay, cool. So I have superseding powers when there's an emergency. You know what that means? If I can invent an emergency, I can get superpowers. Wow! It's almost like we learned that from the pandemic, from 2020, for as long as Democrats want to run with it, and the fact that they want to bring it back again also just lets you know that they know exactly, man, if you could just go ahead and declare an emergency and enough people want to go along with it, you can have the powers that you desire infinitely. 15 days to flatten the curve magically turned into 2 years, huh? And a 30-day temporary ban. Nothing is more permanent than a government temporary ban, by the way. But yes, I can invoke additional powers. I love democracy, and when the emergency subsides, I will relinquish those powers. But spoilers, the emergency will never fucking end. It's hilarious. You didn't want to invoke this when Alec Baldwin was down there shooting up a filming set. Oh, right, he votes correctly. No constitutional right, in my view, including my oath, is intended to be absolute. What the fuck, man? Elect women, this is what you get. There are restrictions on free speech. There are restrictions on my freedom. There are not restrictions on free speech, you fucking blithering tard. She's a lawyer, huh? Good thing that 60% of law school enrollees are also women. Oh boy, we're totally fucked, aren't we? No, there's defamatory speech, which guess what? Isn't protected and isn't free speech, you fucking retard. She's probably somebody else who unironically parrots, or you can't scream fire at a theater. Holy fuck, man. Seemingly casting aside America's oldest, most preeminent law, the statement was issued in response to a series of gun violence cases, most recently after an 11-year-old boy was shot dead and a woman injured as they drove home from a minor league baseball game. Yeah, what was the age, race, and makeup of the subject? Yeah, or the suspect, rather? Oh, we don't want to talk about that, now, do we? A risk of stating. Here's Elon Musk chiming in. Famous African-American, at risk of stating what should be obvious, deliberately violating the Constitution is next level illegal. How soon can this person be removed from office? Oh, I'd imagine there's probably going to be something written up by the end of the week, which, oh, spoiler, New Mexico State Representative Stephanie Lord and John Block, are calling for the impeachment of Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham after Grisham issued an emergency order suspending the right to carry firearms in public and around Albuquerque, the state's largest city. The governor on Friday issued an emergency order suspending the right to carry firearms across the Albuquerque and the surrounding county for at least 30 days amid a spate of gun violence. And yeah, we could just go and take a look at the response to all of this stuff, but nobody is on this crazy bitch's side, because you could just go ahead and take a look at what she's saying and realize that, oh, if you just go ahead and just because you don't like a one amendment to the Constitution doesn't mean that you can nullify it, okay? Because if you do that, everything else is on the table. So I guess slavery is going to be back on the menu, boys. That type of justification, you fucking weirdo, but leave it up to a Democrat to be that fucking dumb. So yeah, I wholly anticipate she's going to be used as a ceremonial lamb in order for Democrats, at least at the federal level, knowing that they're heading into a bloodbath in 2024, to just go ahead and say, "Oh, hey guys, I know that this is extreme, but we would never go that far." You could just take a look at some of the Kamala Harris comments recently about abortion. No Democrat supports abortion all the way up to birth. Oh, except for the legislation that was passed in California that just says that, oh, it's totally and completely fine. It was ratified into law, by the way. Or former blackface governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam, talking about post-birth abortions, but no Democrat in specifics, but she also wouldn't outline, what that cutoff date would be. They're all just trying to soften their radical responses heading into an election, and this fucking blithering wine mom decided that she was going to go ahead and martyr herself for the cause. Well, good luck, and best luck in your future endeavors, you absolute idiot. Holy man. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.